Thank you, Colin, and thank you too, Dave. One of the things I like most about events such as this is that you very quickly realise that you don't agree with everything that everybody says, and much of what you've just heard may not be exactly my view on the position either, but that is what makes for a very good debate. I'm also not sure if all the speakers are experienced or distinguished either, because you've invited me along. And last but not least, mine is not PowerPoint free. Okay? I want to do just one thing in the next 20 minutes. In the 20 minutes' time, I want you to agree with me. I can stop there. I want you to agree with me that if you deprive yourself of the consideration of outsourcing, then you will have deprived your organisation of an opportunity. Okay? That's all I want to end up with at the end of this session and see where that takes us. You see, the problem we face in the public sector, and let me tell you, I love the public sector. I've worked everywhere: heavy engineering, textiles, banking, shipbuilding, transportation, the police, but now I'm in local government, and it is an amazing environment. It's vibrant, it's animated, and it is always moving forward. But we hate change. We absolutely detest the need to do something differently. And I spent months trying to figure out why specifically. Is there something within the DNA of man that stops us not wanting to do it differently? And after a little bit of reading, I've discovered what it is. It's very simple. You've heard the talk about fight or flight. The two reactions that human beings do for everything. Well, you can only run away if you know your exit route. And if you keep moving things around, then the exit route gets lost. So we don't want to change because we want to escape. And that's the struggle that we have. The problem with the public sector is that we are big. We are an institution. When I first joined, I was working in Surrey County Council, and we've got a fabulous building in Kingston upon Thames, as are many of these others you can see here. I think Liverpool, Manchester, a whole range. Huge monoliths in the middle of centres of urban living. Why are they so big? Not because we're affluent, not because we waste our money, but because we want to send a signal to the people who look to public sector for direction that we are here to stay, that we are solid and that we are reliable and things will not change. We've begun today already understanding some of the financial picture, and it's not good, and we know it's not good, but for a few brief moments I want us to realise that if we deprive ourselves of the opportunity of outsourcing, then we deprive ourselves of the opportunity. Man goes into the doctor and he says, "Doctor, I've suddenly become a compulsive thief. All I want to do is steal all the time." And the doctor gets out his prescription pad and he's writing down a prescription. And the man says, "Is that going to cure me?" He says, "I'm not sure. Take the tablets for 2 weeks, and if they don't work, I'd like a flat screen television, please." Okay? That's not a lesson just in ideals. It's a lesson in realising that we have choices, no matter what the outcome. We have choices, no matter what the outcome. Change is never easy. Look at some of the things that we're facing at the moment. We thought we'd made our minds up and then it changed, didn't it? Local authority redundancies are now certain. In the past 18 months, I've had to make 300 of my staff redundant. Before this period is out, that could easily double. And private sector is still shedding jobs far too quickly. And these green shoots are not growing fast enough to give me any assurance. The context is not a good one. And change within the public sector is not good either. Do you know how many years we've been thinking about developing shared service centres in some of our big public bodies? 5 years, 7 years, and we've done nothing. These are just a few statistics shared with me by Duncan Brown. And you can see, most significantly, external effectiveness. We have never, in all the events to date, never quite achieved our objective. And 40% not delivered on time. and 80% would pay more attention to people if they could do it again. The recession has become our burning platform. It's that opportunity by which everything we do will help focus our minds. And I was recently quoted in the paper, much to the displeasure of many of my professional colleagues in HR, when I said, I'm quite content with a 2-year pay freeze. I believe it will give me the consolidated platform from which to move forward and to be able to plan pay bill modelling and future reward structures that are not simply dependent on me trying to poach somebody off the council down the road by offering them a few pounds more than they're offering them. That's going forward. I was sitting in the dentist just the other week. I'm getting some treatment done, and I was reading Health and Fitness. Anybody get Health and Fitness? I think it's a man's magazine, but an interesting one anyway. But I looked to this page and I read it, and it said, 10 symptoms you should not avoid. Okay, 10 symptoms that you should not avoid. The first couple were a little bit worried, but you know what symptom number 3 was? Sudden blindness. Who is going to avoid and ignore sudden blindness? It's a blinding flash of the obvious. We can't ignore the need to move on. We can't ignore that we have the burning platform that takes us forward and prepares us for the realization that if you deprive yourself of the consideration of outsourcing, you deprive yourself of the opportunity. This is a really interesting story. I don't know if you've seen this story before, but it's just a basketball match. Anybody like basketball? I don't really understand it, but it can be quite fun to watch. This was a college basketball match in America, and you can't just see it too well, but you can see that the team in white are winning, and they're winning 43, I think it's 43-42, or 42-41. And if you look really closely on the clock in the top left-hand corner, there is 1 second to go. Okay, now, any betting men want to put a bet on which team is going to win? Because what has also happened is the white team have just been awarded 2 penalty throws. So they're winning by 1 point. They've got 2 penalty throws, and there's 1 second to go. Okay, hands up who thinks the white team win. Yeah, thanks for that. The rest of you know full well. No, they don't win. They don't win because they've predetermined their pattern and are not prepared to change. So what do they do? Well, let's see what they do. Throws his first ball, scores another point.